We are back with some more Giants franchise, and we are at the end of the season. As you can see in the top left corner, that is the Super Bowl winner. The Chicago Bears have made it to the Super Bowl. He had an insane ride there. We'll quickly go through that. There's going to be quite a bit to talk about in this video, so just sit back. First things first, we'll go through the playoffs. Obviously, I already know we lost in the first wild card round. It was rough. It was a bad game. I mean, if I just played good, I probably would have won the damn game, but I just didn't play good at all. It was not the performance we wanted. Lost that game. Obviously, you guys already know these scores as well because we were the last games in the wild card round. So the division round went. Oakland beat the Browns 44-34. Chicago beat the Rams on a blocked field goal. It was about like a 40, I think it was like high 40s, low 50s yard field goal to win the game, time expiring, and Chicago blocked it and advanced on to the conference championship. Cincy beat the Jaguars 45-24, and the Green Bay Packers beat the Detroit Lions 37-28. In the conference championship, Oakland beat the Bengals 37-24, and a very close game. And Chicago scored a super late touchdown and won that game 11-9. It was a very, very defensive game. And both years, this year, I've lost in the wild card round to the Bears. The Bears make to the Super Bowl and lose. Last season, I lost in the divisional round to the Rams, and the Rams make the Super Bowl and lose. Both losing to the Raiders. So the Raiders are back-to-back Super Bowl champions. The first team to win 2 rings this cycle, this Madden. And he's won both of them by 7. So he beat the Rams by 7 last year, and he beat the Bears by 7 this year. So I don't know what it is where whoever I lose in the playoffs now apparently goes to the Super Bowl and loses. Seems to be like that's the common thing now. But it was a great year by Chicago. He, fought. His defense is crazy. He fought all the way to the Super Bowl. Almost came up with a ring. Raiders got on top of him, though, and won 2 years in a row. So that is that. We'll go ahead and quickly go through some awards. I did have 4 Pro Bowlers this season. Daniel Jones was the quarterback 3. First for NFC was Jared Goff, and then the Packers quarterback was number 2. Our second Pro Bowler was Darius Slayton. He was the wide receiver 1 for the NFC side. An insane year for him, just dominated in every single aspect. We had another offensive player on and made the Pro Bowl. Will Hernandez was the second left guard for that, and our last Pro Bowler was Jabril. He was the number 1 strong safety in the Pro Bowl, so that is good for him. I will show you guys some people I re-signed. These are the only people I'm going to be re-signing. Unless, I think I already did all of them, but we'll go ahead and go to the G-Men. So we had, where are we at? I guess it doesn't show franchise tag, but we re-signed our backup left guard 1 year, $910,000, and re-signed one of our wide receivers, Tyrone Kellum. We picked him up during the season. Or actually, I think we picked him up the beginning of the season. He was undrafted, I'm pretty sure. Just to keep him for some depth. 1 year, $610,000, super cheap. And I did have to tag Daniel Jones. I tried getting him in season. He didn't want it. And so it was either let him walk or tag him. I had to tag him. And I was thinking about maybe even possibly trading him. But there was someone I was trying to talk to for a quarterback. But then I realized he just got re-signed because we won't say who was on the block, but someone better than Daniel Jones was on the block, and I was going to do everything in my power to get him, but I just got there maybe a little too late. But maybe it was for the best, because Daniel Jones may have went up in development, so we'll take a look at that in a bit. So maybe it was for the best to keep Mr. Goat Jones. But first things first, we'll go through the yearly awards. MVP was Ramon Kane, had a crazy-ass season. Definitely deserved it. I don't think Daniel Jones was at number 5. Other than that, no Giants there. Sean McVay, Coach of the Year with a 15-1 season. Usually this goes based off record, so we're at 10. Going to the AFC side, we'll quickly just scroll through it. Ramon Kane, Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, Quincy Williams, just being a beast, I guess. Offensive Rookie of the Year is the Jags running back. Defensive Rookie of the Year is Jordan Johns. Look at the Broncos dominating all these awards. Best quarterback, Donald. He was a rookie quarterback, I believe. Ramon Kane. This guy was like a 60-something overall coming out of the draft, and now he's in the 90s already. Best receiver is Tyreek Hill. Best offensive lineman, Quentin Nelson. Best defensive lineman, Cleveland Farrell. Best linebacker, Quincy Williams. Best DB, William Jackson. And best kicker, Rigoberto Sanchez. I thought he was a punter. Maybe he's a kicker now, I guess. I don't know. Moving on to Offensive Player of the Year for the NFC side, it was Jared Goff who won that award, followed by Corey Blackburn, Daniel Jones, and Darius Slayton at number 3 and 4 spot. That's all we got for that. Defensive Player of the Year, Deion Jones. I think he won it last year, honestly. That dude wins it so many times. No Giants on the defensive side, unfortunately. Offensive Rookie of the Year, obviously Rich Volk. What they won? Yeah, they went 13 and 3. I mean, it's hard for a quarterback not to win the award going 13 and 3. Definitely had no Giants on that side. Defensive Rookie of the Year was not Jason Hammond. Wow, Jason was in first for the last couple weeks, but I guess Houston Mitchell must have just popped off. That is unfortunate. I wasn't even paying attention because I thought Jason had it, but I guess not. Houston Mitchell wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. That is what you hate to see. Best quarterback, Jared Goff. Daniel Jones right behind him. Best running back, Corey Blackburn. Don't believe we have anyone yet because Saquon got hurt. Best wide receiver, obviously Darius Slayton. I mean, no questions asked there. The man popped off. Best offensive lineman, David Bakhtiari. Don't think we didn't have any offensive linemen. Best defensive lineman, Kenny Clark. We don't have any there, unfortunately. Best linebackers, Deion Jones. None on the linebacker spot. Best DB was Jabril Peppers, which is what we love to see. Good old Jabril just out here dominating. DeAndre Baker was our 6th spot for the best DB too, so that's good to see. Best kicker was the Lions kicker, and we were at number 5 with Rosas, so not bad. I mean, I guess it could be worse. I actually forgot to check before I recorded this though on players retiring, so I don't know if we had any, but we can go through that because I totally spaced. Let's go to retired here. So who we got? We got Rodney Hudson, 12 years, Kawan Short, and Aaron Rodgers leaving the Packers. So some pretty big players leaving the Packers. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers didn't even start, so it doesn't matter too much, I guess. Anthony Costanzo leaves the Bengals. Alejandro Villanueva and Anthony Sherman both leave the Browns. Devin McCourty also leaves the Browns, so the Browns losing some people. Kyle Long leaves the Lions. Marcus Gilbert and Von Miller, another big one, leaving Tampa Bay. Marquise Pouncey leaving the Steelers. Mitchell Schwartz leaving the Seahawks. Jason Kelly leaving the Redskins. A lot of big players. Some kickers. Russell Okung leaving the Dolphins. Richard Sherman retires from the Cardinals. Kareem Jackson and Chris Harris Jr. both retire from the Broncos. And that is that. So we had no people retire this year, which is good, I guess. I mean, I guess it's good. I guess before we go into some stats, I guess I'll go through here. The only development upgrade we got out of all of our players to end the season rewards was Daniel Jones went to X Factor. I don't know if this was the best ability he could have gotten, but he got Bazooka, so maybe that's good with Slayton combo with Slayton's Moss thing, maybe. Quarterbacks with generation arms have the power to stretch any defense, opponent, blah, 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 blah. When they enter the zone, their maximum throw distance is increased by 15 yards. So maybe that's good. I mean, I don't know when that will come in handy. Maybe Slayton just flies by the defense way down the field. Who knows? We'll see. It's always nice to he's an X factor though. It looks better. I mean, it looks better. When he's in the zone, maybe I'll be feeling a little nicer. And maybe this will bring me good things. The clutch ability. Midway through the 4th quarter in close games, players with this ability can easily enter and remain in the zone. Maybe this is what we needed. I know this is only about staying in the zone, but maybe if he has a little clutch badge on him, he's going to be an absolute beast next season. One can only hope, right? So that's good for Daniel Jones' development. Definitely, we're going to have to keep him. There's only 2 more seasons left of this, so we got to make it count. I mean, we definitely got to make it count. Keenan is still pretty much, I mean, he hasn't really regressed at all. 91 overall right now. He's still in the 90s, so I don't know why it's all messed up. No, my lineup's all messed up for some reason. It says Slayton is my wide receiver 2, even though he's definitely the wide receiver 1. Don't know why it's doing that, but other than that, no one's really regressed too much. Justin Britt regressed a little bit, and I tried re-signing him. It was a pretty cheap deal. He does not want to re-sign with me, so we're either going to be drafting a center or having to sign another one. But other than that, I think our offensive line is staying the same. I think I'm going to keep Isaiah Wynn, Will, Riley Alford, and I might keep my right tackle. I'm not sure. We still got this guy developing behind him, Luke Henry, so we'll have to kind of see what goes on there. Other than that, offense kind of staying the exact same. Defense, same thing, kind of staying the same. I mean, we have a good team. We just haven't been able to put it together. Hopefully one of these guys can get the X Factor. I mean, so far Jabril's our only one, but I would love if Tomlinson, Dexter, I mean, one of these guys, if just one of them can get the X Factor, that would be awesome next season for us. Baker's still being a beast. Newell has progressed insane. I mean, this man has went up an insane amount of overalls. I'll get that. I'll check that in a second, our rookies and stuff, after we go through some stats. But pretty good season, I guess. I mean, made the playoffs, got the 3rd seed, and just like I said, just couldn't put together in the end. But it is what it is. Here's the people that we're having walk. I'm kind of all over the place this video, so hopefully you guys can follow along. We re-signed him when Saquon went down, so we're letting him go. Like I said, Justin Britt tried to re-sign for I think I sent him a $4.12 million offer, and he declined it. Corey Grant we're letting walk. Rhett Ellison we're letting walk. Jabari Morrow we are letting walk. Golden we're letting walk. I tried re-signing both these guys just as backups, and both of them wanted to test free agency, and we used a tag on Daniel Jones. So that is that. I don't know what our cap room is. What is our cap room, actually? I don't think it's quite. I guess we have to. I think we have to wait, actually. Unless I can go here and figure it out. It says with cap space is. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it says our cap space is straight Dornets, but we'll see. We'll have to check next season when all the stuff, not next season, but once we get to the off season, then it should show us what our cap's looking like. But we will move on to the stats. See how they did compared to last season. That is what we were looking at now. So Daniel Jones, he attempted 472 passes and completed 306 last season for a total of 57 touchdowns and 19 interceptions. This season we had just pretty much the same amount of attempts, only 6 more, completed about 16 less completions, and had about 100 less yards. So pretty similar stats as far as yards, completions, and attempts, except we had 7 more touchdowns last season and 5 less interceptions. So last season was crazy with the 57 touchdowns, broke the passing touchdown record for a season, just being a freak. This season still did good, but had its moments where, I mean, I guess I can't really blame it all on him, but did have some bad moments. I did get sacked 74 times last season and only got sacked 68, so that number came down, which is good. Always nice to see that. So not much to say there. Rushing, it's really not much to say either because Saquon was down. So there's really not much to say as far as Saquon. Like last season, Saquon had 1,700 yards. This season didn't even break 1,000 because he was hurt. But I think Wayne filled in pretty good. He got the superstar. He got spin cycle. So if Saquon goes down again, I think Wayne could fill the role a lot better now, especially because he has an ability to use. But other than that, Daniel Jones had a lot more rushing yards this season than last season. Last season, Daniel had 54 for 267 yards and 1 touchdown. This season, we rushed it 86 times with him for 511 yards and 3 touchdowns. Something I was trying to take advantage of a little more, just because he does have some speed, and a lot of people don't spy that much on him. I mean, he's not like crazy fast, but he does have some speed. I mean, 83 speed, 86 acceleration. Something I got to utilize more, and I tried this season. I think it worked out. Got a lot of yards, averaged 30 a game. Last season we averaged 16, so not bad, but nothing really to talk about there. Moving on to receiving, Darius Slayton just absolutely crushed this year. Last season I thought he had the best season he's ever going to have with 80 receptions, 1,791 yards, and 20 touchdowns. But then we get into this season and he has 15 less catches, so 65 catches. But then he has 300 more yards, so 2,020 yards, and 27 more touchdowns. Did all that, 300 more yards, 7 more touchdowns on 15 less catches. Just a freak, man. Just an absolute freak. Keenan kind of, a little less than he did last season. Last season he was 66 for 1,070 yards and 11 scores. This season 56 for 968 and 9 scores. I don't really know what to say about that one. It's just Slayton had a crazy year. I mean, Slayton peaked a little bit, way more touchdowns, a little more yards, so that would mean Keenan gets probably a little less yards if Slayton's even getting more yards somehow. Evan Ingram did have a better year than last year. Last year he was 56 catches, 834 yards, and 15 touchdowns, which I guess is, yards-wise it was better, but the 15 touchdowns last season was crazy. This season he only had 7, 55 for 921 and 7, almost had 3,000-plus yard receivers, not too shabby. Saquon had 800 yards receiving last season, which was crazy, which is something we've really missed this season with him being out. Downing, pretty similar, honestly, the same as last season. Last season he had 26 catches, 564 yards, and 6 touchdowns. This season he had 36 catches, 598 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So a couple less touchdowns, about 10 more receptions, a little more yards. Good season for Downing. You know, he fills his role. He's a good, solid third, fourth option for me, and he does his job. That's just what it is. He does his job. Ray McLeod, we'll go to him. I signed him to be our slot receiver. Our slot receiver last season was Morrow, who had 9 receptions, 144 yards, and a touchdown. And, I mean, Ray McLeod did worse, pretty much. No touchdowns. He had 3 more catches for about 20 less yards. We'd probably keep him. He has 1 more year on his deal, so next season he's on his last year. But he did not do good. As far as a slot receiver, I thought he would fill that role perfectly. I thought he was going to come in, be a beast. You know, he's got some good speed. His short route running is pretty good. I thought he would fill that role pretty well, and he caught maybe 2 two-point conversions, I think. But other than that, really did not do much for us. He didn't. It's just plain and simple. Did not do much. I was a little disappointed about that. I don't think Downing can play in the slot. I like where I have him now when he comes out, and like when I got 3-4 wide receiver sets going on and stuff, especially in the Saints playbook where there's a lot of formations with plenty of wide receivers. So I like Downing's role. I don't want to change what I got for him, and I obviously like Keenan and Slayton where they're at. But I need a slot guy to kind of do some damage. And last season we had an undrafted rookie, and I think he was undrafted last season. Maybe it was the season before that, but I think it was actually last season was Morrow was undrafted. Didn't do well. I mean, he did okay for undrafted rookie. He did okay, I guess. And Ray McLeod came in, signed a deal. Wasn't that much money. Thought maybe, possibly, he'd be the slot guy for us, and couldn't get it done. I mean, he had more snaps than Downing, and Downing put up triple the amount of receptions, like quadruple the amount of yards, and had 4 touchdowns. And Downing had less snaps than him, so I don't know if the part of it just wasn't maybe he's not getting open, or maybe I'm just not looking his way, but he definitely underperformed, which is unfortunate because the slot guys are very important. So I hope that's something we can get figured out. Sacks don't really matter too much. We'll skip over to the defensive side of the ball. Let me skip over here on my iPad so we can keep comparing stuff here. So Ben Ham led our team in tackles again for the 2nd straight year. Last season he had 125 tackles. This season had 111. Had more interceptions this season, a lot less sacks. Last season he had 6.5 sacks. This season only 1. Did have more tackles for a loss though. Had 19 when last season he had 15. I think Ben Ham had a great season. He's gotten to a point where I don't have to really use him, which is great. He won Rookie of the Year when he had him. Got him to Superstar in 1 season. I was hoping I could do that something like that with Jason. Still got Jason to a decent spot, but Ben's in a spot where he can do damage on his own, which is great. Jason right behind him with 10 interceptions, 2 sacks, 14 tackles for a loss. Pretty good rookie season for him, like I said. Not much to complain about there. Jabril had a great season. Last season, Jabril had 8 interceptions, 5 tackles for a loss, and a total of 76 tackles. This season had 80 tackles, 10 tackles for a loss. Didn't have a sack for him, but he did have 12 interceptions, just being a ball hawk. What we want to see out of him. That's what we want to see. Baker, another great season for him. He had 10 interceptions, 67 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, just being the good number 1 corner that we need. Howard Newell, like I said, I'll get into the part where we will go over the development over the season and stuff, but I think Howard Newell was our best rookie we drafted. Pretty sure we drafted him in the 4th round, I believe, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. He's a very, very solid option. I'm very happy with how he developed. I think he's a 75 overall now. Let me 74 overall. He's played great. He has played great for being where he was. I think he was like a 63 overall when I drafted him or something, so he's went up like 10, 11 overalls in 1 season, which is tremendous. I do miss having like a really high rated second corner to go along with Baker, so I don't know if that's something I'm going to address in the offseason. I'm not going to get too into my offseason plan because I know a lot of people from the league watch this, but it's something I'm interested in looking at. Marcus Rich he's had a good year. I think in the playoff game he was amazing. He had a pick and I think 2 forced fumbles. Obviously he had the blocked punt in the Redskins game, so he's coming along. He's up to an 80-something overall now. What is he at? 81 overall. Great free safety for us. Very proud of that. Lorenzo Carter, just doing Lorenzo Carter things. He had a little bit less sacks this season, but a lot more tackles for loss. Last season he had 11 sacks. This season 7.5. Last season had 8 tackles for loss, and this season had 15. So a lot more tackles for loss for him. Grant Haley, Mr. Grant Haley. Starting off the season, very first season 1, Grant Haley in the slot was a menace. I don't know what it is, but he was just flying around making plays. This season, not doing good. Obviously, he had the drop pick in the Bears game that maybe could have won the game or helped win it. It was like 3 minutes left, tied up, drop pick 6. Multiple times, probably maybe 4 or 5 times throughout the whole entire regular season, he had a very crucial, either a face mask penalty or a pass interference penalty. I think in the Redskins game, he had 2, where the Redskins guy just bombed it downfield and Grant got called for a pass interference and it gave him the ball all the way like in the red zone immediately. So I'm not sure what's going on with Grant. I'm not, but I don't think his season this season was that good. I'm not too sure. I'm really not too sure how I feel about him moving forward, but he's on the hate list right now. He is on the hate list. As far as BJ Hill and Dexter Lawrence, they did amazing. Dexter had 12.5 sacks this season. Last season had 11.5. He had 12 tackles for loss this season, and last season had 8. So progressed in all those categories, which is fantastic. Tomlinson, I think he didn't have as much tackles for a loss, but he had the same exact sacks as last season. Last season, Tomlinson had 14 tackles for a loss. This season, 6. But late, I felt like Tomlinson was dominating. I really did. I felt like he was making some improvements. BJ Hill definitely did better this season. He had 10.5 sacks this season. Last season had 8.5. And last season he had 6 tackles for loss. This season had 9. So BJ Hill definitely did better this season. The defensive line overall, I think, did better. X-Man even didn't do that bad. I mean, I'm not too sold on this guy, but he really didn't do that bad down the stretch. I'm starting to figure out some blitzes to send him on, and he's been getting in there, getting some pressure, which I'm liking. David Birch, for a rookie who's not, I'm in a 3-4, so he doesn't play too much, but when I play in those 4-down formations, 22 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and 5.5 sacks as a rookie, I'll take it. I drafted him, I think, 2nd round, I believe, and I'll take it for what his role is. I will definitely take the 5.5 sacks. He's almost got more than my starting defensive tackle, so I'll take it from David Birch. A solid season from him. Kicking is kicking, I guess. There's not much new there. Kick returns and punt returns were god awful. It was terrible. I don't think we could have done any. I don't think we've done any worse. It was just fucking horrendous. It was so bad. I've never seen us kick returns. We do nothing, and we've had 2 kick returns for touchdowns brought back on us, and we just could not. I don't know what it was, man. We just couldn't figure it out. Right now, I'm trying to get to my rookies that I drafted so I can see their what their overall was. So here we go. Let's go to Jason. So Jason Hammond. We'll go back to the roster real quick. My team roster, and we'll start with Jason, who was all the way down here at middle linebacker. So as we drafted him, he was a 72 overall right outside linebacker. Moving him to middle linebacker, I think he dropped 1 overall, so he actually was a 71. He did not win Rookie of the Year, which I think he probably would have got like maybe 1 overall point higher or 2 from winning that, which sucks. I wish he would have won that. Is what it is. But up to a 75, I'm not too mad. All the stats from the green besides hit power, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with how he performed. Wish it would have been a little higher, but I'll take it. I will take it. David Birch was our next pick, who we drafted in the 3rd round, not the 2nd round. Jason Hammond we drafted in the 1st round. David Birch was in the 3rd round, the beginning of the 3rd round. He started out at a 68 overall, so he went up 4 overalls. Like I said, not disappointed at all with how he did. I wish his power move was up a little bit higher, but definitely with the role he's in, I'm happy with it. Not too shabby there. Newell was the second third round selection that we had, and he started at a 64 overall. So he went up 10 overalls in a season and went to star development. Tremendous season for him. The play recognition and press is bad. That's his problem. It's tough. I can run man on him, but the short routes kill him because I can't press, and the play recognition is very poor. So his zone's great, but he can't read the plays well at times. Something we just got to work on with him. But other than that, he's a good rookie. He's getting there. He's definitely getting there. We drafted a bunch of other people that really didn't see much playing time. So those were the only rookies that really made an impact on us. I don't think any other rookie really even played. They're mostly just bench people, not bench people. I guess bench people. One thing I forgot to tell you though is we did break a record, I believe. We'll go to season receiving touchdowns. Yep, Darius Slayton was only one ahead of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill broke it in 2020 with 26 touchdowns. This season we broke it with 27 receiving touchdowns. So right now we hold the receiving touchdowns in a season record, and we also hold the passing touchdowns by 2 touchdowns. So Daniel Jones, 57 touchdowns. It's good. We're breaking records. I mean, we broke the rushing yards record at some point, or we almost broke it, I think. It was in a game, I think, is what it was. Rush yards, right? Where is he at? Yeah, we did break it, but then look at Kane, Hines. Kane's just out here breaking his record every 5 seconds. But we did have that at one point, too. Our offense is so overpowered. We score so much points. The defense gets so many turnovers. The part that kills us in these tough games and these playoff games is just dumb mistakes. So it's something I just got to polish. As you can see, Slayton was first and all that. We'll go ahead and look at the stats for the top players and stuff, but just something we got to polish on. We just got to work on. We only got 2 seasons. We got time. I mean, our team is fantastic. We got time. We'll go ahead and look at the league leaders. So yards, Jared Goff with I think it was Jared Goff, right? Yeah, 5,771 yards. Touchdown leader was Jared Goff with 51, followed by me and the Browns rookie with 50. We would go to rushing. The rushing yards leader was Ramon Kane with 2,717. 22 touchdowns, just being a freak. And Scott Jarrett and Nyheim Hines following close at second and third. Receiving, Darius Slayton, 2,020 yards, tied with exactly with Tyreek Hill, but also had 7 more touchdowns than him, just being a man, being an absolute man. We'll skip blocking. Blocking don't matter too much. Tackles leader was Deion Jones with 153. Sack leader was Cleveland Farrell with 34.5. And I'm pretty sure this guy no, he didn't retire. Someone retired on the Raiders. I don't think it was that guy. I don't believe it was that guy. Maybe it was. I can't remember. I know the Raiders was retired when we looked at it. William Jackson was the pick leader with 21 picks. That's pretty insane there. Jesus. Good Lord. Pass deflections, Jared Alexander with 31. Forced fumbles, Keanu Neal with 9. I feel like Jabril should be up here, right? Maybe not. Unless I missed him. Marcus Rich is up here 3. Jabril's caused more than 3, right? I could have sworn Jabril's caused more. Maybe not. Okay. I could have sworn he caused more, but whatever. Touchdown leader, Sidney Sams, cool. Best kicker as far as percentage was the Bears, 38. Or not percentage, he just made the most. As far as percentage was, the Lions, 96%, only missed 1. 1 field goal and 1 extra point. Not bad. Punting, we can go ahead and skip that. Kick return leader was oh my god, he had 4 kick returns for a touchdown? Jesus. I could only wish for that, man. I could only wish. And there was some punt returns. John Ross had one. This guy got a punt. Dude, this guy's crazy. Who is this man? What in the world? This man is insane, dude. I want a special teams player like that. We need something like that. That is it for this video, I believe. I think we went through everything. Next video will be the end of the offseason, so it might be a couple days offseason to get. I probably won't be the end of the offseason. Maybe by like free agency, the day 3 or 4 or something like that. I'd come out with a video telling about trades that went through and stuff. I actually me and a team have agreed to a trade, just hasn't been approved yet. So stay tuned for that. You guys can guess what position I'm trying to get if you want. Can I show you? I'll show you my draft picks too for the coming up season or draft. We don't have much because we did trade a couple last draft. We traded a couple this year, I think, for the previous draft, something like that. So we don't have a first round pick. 2023, we have a second, third, fourth, fifth, no sixth round, and a seventh. So every single round besides first and sixth, possibly that one of these picks are moving. We'll just have to see if the trade gets approved or not. And in 2024, we have every single round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That will be our final draft, is that year. But that is pretty much it for ending year 4 here. A couple things are changing with the league and how it's run. As far as max contracts, if you guys remember, every single 85 and up had to be re-signed to a max deal. But we were running into some problems where there was a 34-year-old lineman or something that was at 85 overall that shouldn't be getting paid the same as Aaron Donald, like a defensive tackle that's super old, 85 overall, should not be getting paid the same money as Aaron Donald. So we have a calculator now where we put in age, position, development, all that stuff, and it pops out with what you have to sign him for. So that's going to be happening next season. So hopefully we can use that to get Daniel on a long-term deal. If not, maybe I just tag the man again. We only got 2 seasons left. I don't really got to lock him up. I can tag him twice. We got this season to play with him on franchise tag. Maybe I tag his ass again next season, and he can play on the tag for the remaining of Madden. That might be the way to do it, to be honest, because we don't need to lock him up. We don't. We can keep him on a tag, and that frees that helps out because we don't got to pay the crazy amount of money for him. We only got 2 seasons left to work with, so that might be the route we go. But yeah, next video will be the end of the offseason. We'll be wrapping up who went where, what trades went through and stuff. There might be another trade in the meantime that I'm working on, but we'll just have to see. I'm pretty sure I went through everything. I guess the only thing that I'm thinking of now that I forgot to show you guys is our leaders on defense. You already know our rushing and receiving leader, but defensively I didn't tell you. So obviously tackles was Benham, tackles for loss Benham, sack leader was Dexter Lawrence at 12.5. Our pick leader was Jabril with 12. Forced fumbles we had Marcus Rich with 3, so I guess Jabril only had 2. Definitely thought Jabril had more, to be honest. I'm not sure about that one. But hopefully we can sign some people in the offseason. Like I said earlier in the video, though, I don't want to go too in depth of what my plan is in free agency. Let me know what you guys think, though. I will take your comments into consideration. I just don't want to reveal what I'm going after too much and give other teams ideas and stuff. But that is that. It was the regular season, good season. Got the 3rd seed, won the division. Playoffs, pretty disappointing. But that's what happens in the playoffs. Sometimes you have disappointing. But if you have a bad day in the playoffs, you're gonna get bounced. So just gotta go back to the drawing board, figure some things out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.